Yep.
Good crack. I like the yep. Welcome in. No puns allowed with Paige and Kramer.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Got a koozie issue going here, by the way. I know we try to do our alcohol reveal, but it's it's
Let's
not
just
going
say
great.
you need I know what I'm getting you for Christmas, actually. I'm not going to spoil it, but I know what
Yes.
I'm getting you for Christmas now.
I appreciate that. I appreciate it.
So, see, here we go.
Yeah.
What everybody else should be getting people for Christmas, though, is gear from Municipal. If you're not
It's
watching,
nice. Yeah.
I'm repping before we started, I said, I'm wearing the new crop sweatshirt that I got. I really, really like it. And Kramer goes, me too. I love that one.
Well,
and I was like, you enjoy wearing the crop top one? No, he likes this hoodie, but...
It's cold here now, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm hanging on to dear summer. And so we got to do that through the crop sweatshirts. I did not hear crop, but that is a very nice sweatshirt. I am digging the pants. I'm wearing the pants right now, also the shirt, but I'm not going to lift up the pants because it gets weird. But they are really nice. In fact, I think there's a new order of a lot of their like fitwear. Again, what I love about the Municipal gear, I can wear this to work, I wear it to the gym, and I certainly wear it while I'm drinking. It is a versatile clothing item, and that's what I need because there's a combination of that plus with dadding.
Yeah.
I don't want to make that weird with the drinking, but there's dadding involved that it does all of it. So Municipal, cheers to y'all.
Municipal.com, no puns 20, guys. Go get your stuff. It also makes me feel just like very fit. Because anytime I see the commercials on TV with Mark Wahlberg, I'm like, yeah.
Do you see what time he's going to the gym, by the way?
It changes up for like what he's doing, but usually it's like 2 something, right? 2 or 3.
Yeah,
2:50
which is,
he gets up, does his 10 minutes of prayer, and
it's like for real. I remember reading about this, and then now you're seeing him, and he looks like he's ready for the gym. Because if I did that, it would be like, I think I'm going to bed at 2:30. Like, that's Pac-12 after dark time for me. So I struggle with that.
I don't think football season I could do it. March Madness, I could probably do it. Because I go, like, crazy on that anyway. I'm, like, up at all hours of the night.
It's working for him. But that is incredible. And definitely not my style. So we have the sport of football is a fucking beautiful mess. As you know, I like to say right now.
Yes.
We have the coaching situation losing its mind. We have the sport in terms of actual games losing its mind.
Yep.
Lot to get to. This is a loaded show, and we're going to try and move it along. You know what happens when we do that. Normally, we don't do that.
There's so much to get to. It's unreal. Like, I was looking at our rundown, and I was like, I'm pretty sure this is the longest rundown we've had.
It's just full. It's like a list. So, where do you want to start?
Let's start with games last week, playoff coaching. Let's go that order.
Okay. Yes.
So games this last weekend.
Michigan, Ohio State was blank. What was that to you?
Surprising. I did not expect that from Ohio State. And I also I didn't think that Michigan was that good.
I just shocking, which is kind of a cop-out because you just said the same thing. That game flipped, though, because it felt like Michigan was hanging on for dear life. Mm-hmm. J.J. McCarthy didn't look good. Blake Corum ran the ball like 2 or 3 times and clearly wasn't himself.
Yeah.
And you're like, the levee was going to break here. And then a couple of big throws. The secondary play for Ohio State, a mess. And then... I don't like saying this about kids. Ohio State quit. Yeah. They tapped out. Like I'm not saying kids didn't want to actually play or weren't trying, but they were overwhelmed. And when you're like breaking free for like 75-yard like untouched touchdowns, like that was a mess. Like that was a mess for them.
Their secondary was atrocious. The space that was given was just unreal. And you're letting a guy who doesn't necessarily like throw bombs that often throw bombs, and like that their run game is their main like source of power in their offense, and then they switched and completely changed the game. Like it was incredible to me that happened. But I'm also like kind of shocked at people's reaction to this game because like the Ryan Day rumors already started.
Hot seat, you're saying.
Yeah, and I just, that seemed weird to me, but then I thought about, like, the expectation, and, like, if this was the SEC, he'd already be fired. But
he is 45-5, I believe.
yeah, which is insane for people to be like, this man should be fired. But you can't lose to your rival 2 years in a row and then miss the playoff.
Okay. The Ryan Day talk is really interesting. I think that is an insane conversation.
Yes.
But I'm also willing to have it. Like if I'm Ryan Day and I'm like, okay, they lost a close game last year. This game sucked. I've won 95% of my games, or 90% of my games. And people are calling for my head. Fuck y'all. Like,
yeah.
Isn't it a little insane? Like here?
It is.
And I'm not even defending him. I'm just like,
it's not
holy
even,
crap.
I kind of get what you're saying. It's like, it's wild that people started that. And I think something that, like, Ryan Day has been, I've given him a lot of credit for specifically, is just the way he, like, doesn't lose composure in terms of, like, when his team is down, he sticks with, like, and we've seen it with Stroud, like, when he's struggled, he's allowed him to, like, work itself out. And I felt like in that game, there needed to be a moment where he maybe lost it a little bit and started to be like, okay, figure this out, like, firing the guys up and getting them going. Because, like you said, it almost seemed like they just were like, oh, well, we're not going to win this game, and kind of gave it up. And, like, to me, that's the point where he should have shifted something, and he hasn't had to do that before because everybody's just been able to sort of make it happen. And I think last year was just kind of a shock. It wasn't anything that people were like, oh, this is Ryan Day's fault. But I think part of it is like, okay, you need to be able to fire your guys up and get them to perform the way they can perform, because looking at it, Ohio State is the more talented team. Like, that's the terrible thing to say. I think people are really upset about that. It's like, they are the more talented team, so why aren't they winning? It's clearly the fact that there's something else in terms of execution, not just the talent on the team.
He called a terrible game too, by the way. He punted on the other side of the field, and Michigan immediately went down the field and scored. Yep. That was a chicken shit call. Mm-hmm. The play calling was odd and really strange. But I also, like, part of me is like, okay, they got their asses kicked. They've lost one game. They may make the college football playoff still. They have a good chance. No, it's not good. They have a very reasonable shot at making the playoff. They do not control their own fate. Why are you shaking your head already? We're not even to that portion.
We're not even to that portion. We'll get there.
But I just like, if that's the expectations, like I saw today, and it was a reasonable column about Mike Vrabel going to Ohio State. Why would you want to go coach that job if you don't win all of your games and you're fired? We got Lane Kiffin losing 4 football games a year, getting $9 million a year. Yeah, this world is nuts. So I don't know, other than I think it's wild that the conversation that we're having, and I think some of it's deserved, and I think some of it is absolutely insane. Like, but it's real. To your original point, it is very real, the dialogue that, and Ohio State fans, smart Ohio State fans, who I follow on Twitter, who cover the sport, who are level-headed, have said, yeah, this shit's very real, and if this happens next year, like, yeah, that could be it. It's like, my God, we are escalating quickly there.
Yeah, because I think the whole point was, like, it doesn't seem like he cares that this is happening. And that's always, I hate when people say that. It doesn't seem like he cares. Of course they care. Of course they care. He
just looks it, though. It's a look. It is a look. Yes. He doesn't help himself.
Like, sometimes you have to play the game in the sport and have that, like, put on that face and act like you care more than you want to show, because it'll help you in the long run, which sounds so stupid, but it's true.
You know, you think about the other side of this. Jim Harbaugh lost huge games for like 5 years in a row, and lost a lot and almost got fired, and now is in this position where they're thriving. But it was 5 years, and it's an odd, just the way we measure certain teams and programs, I think, is really, really strange. And we'll talk a little bit more about Ohio State. We talk playoffs, but let's talk Dabo, because they are.
I can't wait.
Okay.
Go ahead first. You can go first.
All right. So there's 2 elements to this conversation, and I don't have the quotes in front of me. Maybe you can pull them up. I can pull them up too. But Clemson losing to South Carolina. DJ, who we like and we want to do well. We want all kids to do well. But DJ was like 9 of 29. The defense was torched by Spencer Rattler, who all of a sudden remembered how to play football again. And Clemson is now out of the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
That part is interesting because Dabo is stuck in his ways. And he doesn't want to make staff changes, and he's not about the transfer portal. And I'm assuming you want to get into the comments that he made on this radio show. Where
I Googled the comments now. We have them. So
okay, you go for it.
When you're in Tennessee's position, they're like, okay, we beat South Carolina, we beat Vandy, and they're in the playoff. They're flipping burgers at the house, having a cold drink, watching the championship weekend. What
Sounds
are we?
Great.
Are we 3 or 4? Where are we going?
L.
Basically just saying like they don't really, they like control their own destiny but don't have to play in the championship game. Okay?
Yes.
And then didn't handle their business.
No.
Then he followed it up by losing to South Carolina and then now being in the championship weekend but not controlling your own destiny and probably not getting into the playoff.
Did you see what he said yesterday about
There's more?
Well, so he essentially said like they're asking him about the passing game and if he's going to make staff changes, right? And he basically said, if you don't like what I'm doing, then you could fire me and get a new coach. And he kind of dug in. And it was odd and it was off-putting and it was really strange. And he's becoming this guy that like he believes so strongly in what he does. Mm-hmm. That he's unwilling to change. Mm-hmm. And he kind of fired back like, y'all don't like it, get rid of me. And it was a little weird. Like I don't know, like right now, if there are many coaches at Power 5 schools who are like more widely unliked. For a guy that has natural likable tendencies, the G-shuckisms and the boat shoes, he's pissed to like a lot of people. G-shuckisms. Like he's all G-shucks. Like, yeah, flipping burgers. But this program I think is on the brink of not being a dominant program anymore.
Oh, it's going to happen. I was just going to say like this.
We might be there, by the way.
We are at the point where like saying things like that about other players, like it was just unnecessary. You don't need to say anything about other people's players. You are refusing to use the transfer portal. You've made comments about the fact that you would leave the sport if kids get paid. So, and people will say, oh, he said pay for play, not the NIL stuff, whatever. What is that? The quote in Moneyball, adapt or die. Like you are legitimately going to like cut yourself off from a lot of players because a lot of players don't want to buy into that G-shucks. There's a bunch of them that will be loyal and still have the football mentality of, going and playing for the coach and doing that in the program. And it's all about a brotherhood and all of that stuff. That's great. But when they see their counterparts making a ton of money and still winning and being in a championship position, because I think that's going to cut them off from being able to be successful long term. Like if I were a Clemson fan, I'd be really concerned that he's not willing to and that change and adapt with things and that he's going to cause them to lose out on a lot of players in the country because he's acting this way and very, very open about it.
I found the exact quotes because I feel like this is really interesting. So somebody asked him about their passing game, right? And if he was considering making changes to the staff, this is from USA Today, which I think via On3 Sports. And he said, well, that's what I get paid to do. All I can tell you is I'm going to do my job. And if it comes a time when people don't like how I do my job, then they can hire somebody else. But until then, I ain't ever going to make decisions based on what other people want me to do. I can tell you that. If I did that, I wouldn't be sitting here talking with you today. Yep. That was the question of, are you going to like adjust your passing game? If that's the mindset of Clemson, that there will be a new head coach here and there'll be a new staff here every year, it will be a very mediocre, inconsistent program.
That's what he said?
Yeah, it's all quotes. This is direct quotes.
you're going to be a very mediocre program if you don't adapt to where the sport is going. I just don't understand this, like, need to, I don't know, because I think about Saban all the time and how he handles the press and the things that he says, which, by the way, he had a very funny press conference when he got
dinged up. Yeah.
Yep. But there's an edge of, like, funniness to it and, like, joking, and, like, Dabo is, like, dead serious. He's like, if you don't like it, go find somebody else.
Well, like, his us against the world shit doesn't play anymore. They're not little old Clemson anymore.
Little old Dabo. Yeah, little old Clemson.
It's not that anymore. You're a hugely successful program and a hugely successful coach, and his unwillingness to adapt to it is showing. So I think it's going to be, and they're out, by the way. They're out, obviously.
They're out of the playoffs.
Some of us may like them in their ACC championship game. All right, we have to keep going. I said we would be quick. We're not quick, and that's on me. College football playoff.
Yes.
Declaration number 1, Alabama is officially out. They are out. I'm sorry, but they are out.
That's okay.
I did love I don't know who the committee chair is this year. What's his name?
Boo Corrigan.
Oh, is that Boo Corrigan? I thought you were, like, scaring me. Like, I've got the name. But he had misspoke and said...
Did you really?
I didn't know. I didn't expect... I had no idea. Like,
you didn't know his name was Boo Corrigan?
I didn't expect Boo to come out first. Like, Boo. Like, I'm like, what? What the fuck? Okay. So he had misspoke. By the way, let me being the committee chair is a horrible job.
Yeah, it's the worst
horrible job.
Because you say one thing and you just
it's horrible.
Yourself.
And then here we are. But he had said, like, it's not finalized that basically Alabama can't jump Ohio State. He later corrected and basically said they're not locked into their 2 spots. Alabama at 6, they're done. We talked about this on our show last night, and I've been thinking about it a little bit. I think I'm here that if USC loses to Utah, Ohio State is in, definitively. I feel pretty strongly about that. How do you feel about that?
I feel like if USC loses, Ohio State will get in. I personally feel that USC should get in still. Because if you look at their regular season resumes, and a loss away by 1 point, okay, and then they shouldn't be punished for being in their championship game. And then you have Ohio State, who got their asses kicked at home.
Yes.
And also strength of schedule wise, like, I'm pretty sure that USC's strength of schedule would be harder than Ohio State's. I'd have to look that up. Actually, let's look it up just to be sure.
Who do you think Georgia would rather play?
Ohio State.
I don't know about that. I genuinely don't know. I'm not challenged. It's just an interesting question. Have you seen the odds on this, by the way? I did a video last night for Bleacher Report. Let me pull them back up. I found this fascinating. I'm gonna get the championship odds for you while you are hold on. Where are they? All right, are you ready for these? So the current national championship odds are Georgia minus 150, Michigan plus 300, Ohio State plus 800, TCU and USC plus 1,200, Alabama plus 6,000. Don't bet Alabama.
National championship odds?
National championship odds. Ohio State is actually the 3rd selection. I found that fascinating. I
made a bet on one of those teams.
Are they outside of the top 2?
Yep.
It's USC.
I did. After the Notre Dame game.
Caleb Williams is...
You gotta play big to win big, okay? Okay, so I was wrong. I was wrong. Ohio State's strength of schedule is ranked 40th, and USC's is 51st. But
I feel like USC should be higher.
They should.
I don't know.
But okay, wait. This is not a good source. Let me.
Oh, I like that. Live sourcing. Well, not live, but
let's do College Football Power Index and use the strength of schedule.
I think that while you're doing that,
yes, I'm listening to you.
Let's go this route real quick. Is TCU in? I feel like TCU's in.
Yes. Yeah.
And I actually would like to hear your power index for TCU on this, because it's probably going to be a lot better than people give it credit for.
Wait, what?
TCU's.
TCU's
where they fall on the strength of schedule metric ranking.
In this?
Yes.
It says... Oh, whoops.
I'll bet you they're top 10.
7th, yeah.
Still feels weird, but I get it. So, is there...
This is weird.
God, just looking at a fucking picture of Trent Dilfer on the internet.
Stats. But anyway, to the point, like, in terms of, like, rankings and what they look like now and the wins that they've gotten, I think there could be an argument made for USC.
I think there is a strong argument to be made.
Yeah, if they lose. And
I think
also just watching Ohio State play, like, Ohio State doesn't deserve to be in the college football playoff after that game against Michigan. I'm sorry, you don't.
Well, it's also the week before against Maryland, they looked like shit.
Yeah.
Too. Now, I don't know. USC has done that. They did it with Cal. This is a tough discussion, but I think that in the instance of this, it won't be the first time that playing an extra game hurts you. And it could hurt them here.
Yeah.
Michigan last year, if they would have lost to Iowa, I think they would have been out.
But that's not fair that, like, you are punished for being in your championship game. I mean, this all changes because we have expansion, but, like,
thank God. Thank God.
USC will be punished for losing in a championship weekend, and Ohio State will be rewarded for not making it to their championship. That's not fair, in my opinion. That is not putting the best 4 teams in.
Well, it's interesting because when Notre Dame would get in, they wouldn't have to play in a conference championship game, which is bullshit too. Right? Like, that's happened, where they've been chilling on the sidelines. I mean,
Alabama was the beneficiary of sitting out, and making
This is why AQ bids are the way to go. Like, give me automatic qualifiers. I don't give a shit. Well, great. Purdue can get in. Although we're changing that. So it's going to be the top 2 teams in the division.
I actually want to talk about this because some people were, like, arguing over the weekend about the expansion of the playoff on Twitter. I don't know if you saw on Saturday. And I was like, can you just stop?
Oh, yeah. I had people tagging me like crazy.
Yeah. I'm like, can you just stop? First of all, like, it's happening. So get over it. Second, like, what's going to happen, and that's really good for the sport, is that the teams, the conference championships that are going to matter are group of 5 and, like, other teams' championships or other conference championships that we don't normally care about as much. Also, that's going to play a factor in it, and that's going to be exciting for the sport because people are watching stuff outside of the Power 5.
Here's what, by the way, a 12-team playoff would look like right now. Would you like to know this?
Yes.
Tell me if this would interest you.
Yes.
Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC would get byes.
Okay.
Tennessee versus Kansas State.
Sign me up.
Alabama versus Utah.
Sign me up.
Ohio State versus Tulane, which
Sign me up.
And Penn State, Clemson.
Yep.
It's kind of gross, but I'd still be here for it. So then you'd have Georgia versus Penn State, Clemson. Awesome. You'd have USC versus Ohio State, Tulane. You'd have Michigan versus Tennessee, Kansas State. And TCU versus Utah or Alabama. Now, here's the thing. At my very core for playoff expansion argument, because all the doofuses were out, give me fucking fun football games against teams that don't normally play each other. That's all I want. I don't even care. Tulane, Ohio State, I like fucking here for it. Ohio State's probably going to be a 20-point favorite. Awesome. Prove it. Like, I can't wait. This argument, it's not water. People say, oh, it's going to water it down. Conference championship weekend is already watered down. It's completely watered down. Like, come on. So I don't want to soapbox this shit. It's a fun week.
I know.
Trent Dilfer has a college football job, for God's sakes.
Yeah. But I just was so annoyed that everyone was arguing about it. I'm just so excited. I'm excited for more things that matter. I am too. It's very, very exciting. But yeah, I think in terms of playoff, like, my stance is, I think it's going to be pretty chalk from what we have now. Like, I think it's going to be Georgia, Michigan, TCU, and USC. I don't think that anything crazy happens over the weekend to make that change. Because I think the only, because again, like we talked about, the top 3, Michigan and Georgia and TCU can all lose and still get in our opinion.
Yeah, I think the top 2 for sure, and I think TCU is as well. I did see that the I think the two most bet games and teams thus far are USC and TCU, which I find interesting from a contrarian style. I'm really struggling.
You mean the money is on them to win?
Yep. Most bets, I believe I saw. Of course, USC versus Utah, it's like people are going to line up to bet USC in that game. I'm really struggling.
Because it's hard to beat a team twice in one season. So that's, again, why maybe picking Kansas State would be better.
Caleb Williams is like dazzling.
Their defense
right now,
is like miracle turnover city. Like, I don't know what I think they heard everybody talking about their defense being the problem, and then they just were like, all right, we're gonna force as many turnovers as we possibly can. It's been great. So I genuinely believe that USC deserves to be in the playoff, whether they win or lose. Whether or not that happens, I don't think that'll be the case, but I'll be angry about it once we're through the weekend.
Okay, we need to get to coaches. We'll get back to games and predictions. Auburn and Hugh Freeze. I almost don't want to talk about it, and I want your thoughts first on this. I'm not surprised. That's all I'll say. And were you surprised, and what do you think of it?
Not surprised at all. I think in terms of football, it's an excellent hire. Hugh Freeze is a very, very good football coach. I don't think there's like an argument against that.
We just lost to New Mexico State by like 1 billion points, but yes, I agree.
But he's a very, very
he's a great coach.
And I know the other stuff is what people want to focus on. I think it's interesting that I told you this, that he has to hand over his social media account, but he's denied that. Hilariously enough, our guy Lane Kiffin tweeted something at him and was like, I would respond to you or at you in this, but like, we know you can't respond because you don't have control of your own social media.
Fucking Lane.
Which kind of, I wonder if Auburn was like, hey Lane, you have to give us your social media accounts. I wonder if that was like just like an Auburn thing, not just like a, hey, we're worried about, you calling escorts on your company phone type deal,
So the escort thing, that's not the thing that bothers me so much. I don't want to sound like a pig, but the getting in DMs of somebody and talking about Ian McCaw and all that really bothers me.
Yeah.
That's gross. Not that the escort thing isn't gross, but there's layers of gross. That's just you, and frankly shouldn't be for public consumption.
Yeah. Certainly don't do it on your company phone, but...
Well, that's fucking dumb. Yes, and that is bad. It's just stupid.
10 out of 10 don't recommend doing anything on your company phone.
I will say the one of the things I didn't like yesterday is, or throughout the past couple days, it's like, oh, there's coaches are pigs. Coaches all do this shit. Like, that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. Now, we know coaches live an intense lifestyle, but I don't know a lot of this information that flows freely. Where we're like, all of a sudden, we're making Hugh Freeze the norm for the
yeah, no, it is not
the trade.
There's a level, kind of like you said before. There's like a level of grossness, and there are some very wonderful human beings in the sport, and there are some really terrible human beings in the sport. And we certainly hear lots of things about individuals, but the idea that like because other guys are, do not so great moral things that like Hugh Freeze should be given a pass. Like, I don't know. Also, I just hated that he brought Miss Terry and Nick into it. They're good friends, and like, I hope they're a little scared today. I was like, please leave the royal family of football out of this. Thank you.
My most jarring takeaway is why the fuck can't Auburn just be normal with this? Like every year, like every time. Here's what I would have done, by the way, for the Auburn position. I would have paid Sonny Dykes $10 million a year.
Yeah, that.
And made him say no. That's what I would have done. I would have done that. Now, he's in a playoff team, would have been hard to say no, but like that's what I would have done. It's more of like an Auburn thing that them hiring a coach, there was like, they were going to hire him, and then there was backlash, and the boosters get involved. Like, the entire process is just kind of gross.
The Gruden to Tennessee thing.
But can this be successful? Yeah, it can. Can it be a toxic disaster? Yeah, nope. It could. Like, there's like no in between. I don't think it's going to be an average hire. It's going to be a great hire or a terrible hire. And by the way, when I say great, I mean results, because people are going to feel about this what they feel, and I respect that. It's a Google search away from learning everything you want to know about the guy to feel how you do. And to be clear, I want to make sure I clear up my escort comment. Like, yeah, not great. I'm not pro escort. Okay. I feel like I'm going to get clipped here. Like, Bleacher Report, man, promoting escorts on podcasts. Like, but like,
No.
I was trying to highlight the other side of it being
there's other
the gross.
things. That's the very
Damn it.
obvious and most talked about thing that he's done. That's maybe very questionable, to be honest with you.
Like paying players, who gives a shit? That's not even, who cares?
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
we don't care.
2006.
You can pay all of your players. We do not care. We support paying players on this podcast, but everything else, don't pay them in. Never mind. Okay, let's move on to
Matt Rule, Nebraska.
Wholesome Nebraska.
This should work.
It should.
It should work.
Yes.
It should work. It should be good. He's putting together his staff. His press conference was awesome. He's a football guy. I want this to work. I want it to work for neighbor Jason. I want him to have direction. Mm-hmm. They're investing in him in the program. Like, there's no reason that this should fail. I don't know why I don't have like 120% confidence in this. There's just something not quite there yet. But the more I hear from him, the more I like. And it's a good move for Nebraska. I would have liked to have Luke Fickell a little bit more. But still, this is a really good move for Nebraska.
Yeah, I'm 100% behind this. I think this is a good match. I think this will go well.
Just a handshake and we move on.
Yes, handshake and we move on.
Luke Fickell. Holy shit.
To Wisconsin. If I was giving out trophies for who has the best hire, this is certainly the best hire and best get, in my opinion. I was a teensy bit surprised, and I wonder if there was a part of him that was like, oh, what if that Ohio State job opens up?
For sure. I
you know what I mean? Like, after that, he's probably like, oh, shoot. But I mean, not that he couldn't get out of it and pull like a lane, but, you know.
The only part of this I found fascinating, because it's a great hire.
Excellent hire.
It's a good move, good style, cultural fit, you name it. Like, awesome. The support for Jim Leonhard, like, you read the tweets of, like, current and former players, like, that hurt. And honestly, I haven't heard anything today, but I know that they were still working on maybe keeping him. Like, Luke Fickell, like, it's kind of neat to see this, by the way, with Cadillac and Auburn.
Yes.
Staying on. And, like, it doesn't mean you're gone. Like, he's clearly beloved, and who knows where it goes. There was a lot of support internally to keep this guy, who may be a great coach, who had a chance to earn this job. Mm-hmm. And there were some signs at Wisconsin, but not enough. You have Luke Fickell. Like, I think Leonard's a great potential coach down the line. Mm-hmm. This is a no-brainer, though, I think. And they're paying for it, by the way. Again,
to our point, like, if that Ohio State job does open up, which, by the way, craziest thing to say out loud. I hope it doesn't. I really do like Ryan Day.
It's going to be a while.
Well, it'd be a year. It would because if they lose to Michigan again, he would be fired immediately if they lost to Michigan again next year. Kramer.
I don't know about that.
I do. I know for a fact that if they lost to Michigan again, he would be gone.
He's gonna be 56-6 and out of work.
Yep.
College football's fucked up.
Yep.
But
exactly.
maybe. I don't
he would be.
Yes.
That would be the last straw. It would be donezo for him. But yeah, this Luke Fickell hire is a slam dunk in my opinion. I am excited for there to be other strong teams in the Big Ten besides the two that are leaving my conference to join yours.
I am jumping Arizona State's football hire because we need to talk about Trent Dilfer. I like ASU's hire. We can talk about it real quick. I do too.
I think it's a good hire, but I hope he likes losing to Arizona every year.
Yeah, fair enough. He, I did like, this is what happens when we talk Arizona State. I did like in the press conference, a booster just stand up and be like, I'm donating $1 million. Like, I love that randomness of just a booster jumping in like, hey, what are all these cameras doing here? I'll give $1 million. Like, oh my gosh, thanks, booster. Whatever. He's got ties and connections to the school. We're going to play that card. Arizona State, I'm hoping for you. Trent fucking Dilfer.
I know.
Okay. This is one of the weirdest hires.
You think so?
I can ever remember. He was coaching a high school team. He got in an altercation with a player on the sideline and had to apologize for it. He's an Elite 11 guy, so he spent a lot of time. I was at those Elite 11 camps. Like, he knows football. I think this is a fucking terrible hire. I think it's a horrible hire. Bill Clark built UAB literally from the ground up. Like, facilities, program died. He had to retire because his back. The players are campaigning to keep the interim, to keep their coach.
Yeah.
And then you bring in Trent Dilfer.
Who's not a warm and fuzzy culture guy.
I think it's a shocking hire, honestly. I'm floored by this.
I think
this is
maybe
a pretty good
they
job.
think he has plenty of connections where he could get like a big splash players to come in because of the Elite 11 ties and all of that stuff. Also, speaking of Elite 11, this is a random side note, but did you see the Mike McDaniel sideline thing with Tua where he was talking about how he watched the YouTube videos and he was like with Trent Dilfer, and I was like, it was the Elite 11 stuff because I remember watching those videos because we were there, or BR was there, and we would get like the clips of stuff, and I remember watching and them talking about like Tua's footwork and his technique and all of that. So when he said that, immediately I was like taken aback and I was like, wow, now I feel old. Now I feel really old.
Yeah, the opening is like one of my favorite things ever.
Yeah.
Watching Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields just go crazy. But I'm floored by this. I don't understand the thought process of coaches. I think running a college team, it's just not going to go well.
No.
It's not going to go well.
I think they thought it was going to be like kind of a Dion-esque splash in terms of like charisma and public. I mean, it's definitely different, but I think, I don't know that it's going to go entirely well.
If I'm recruiting against him, I show the clip of him grabbing his player. And I get that this is football and I'm not going to go all soft here and be like, oh, that's not, I get it. Like, It doesn't have to be warm and fuzzy. That was not good.
Yeah.
That was not good. And it's a terrible hire. It's a terrible fucking hire. We can do better, UAB. I love UAB. I've spent a lot of time at UAB. There's like a personal connection in watching this program come back from the dead. This is bad. Good luck. That's all I'll say.
Another thing that I think is just really bad is the fact that Texas A&M fired their offensive coordinator, who's not even in charge of play calling.
Yeah, Jimbo's like, this will get him off my back.
Yep.
Like,
what
this will
a
do
joke. It. What a joke. That's the part about the sport that just he had to do something because they couldn't blame it all on injury this year, so they were like, all right, well, this guy's the fall guy. Like, that sucks so bad.
It will be very interesting to see who they bring in, and will this person will he relinquish play calling duties? I think he has to. Of course, we're talking about Texas A&M coming off a win over a top 10 team. But
I bet by the way.
I bet the other way, and I'm
Cash
a dipshit for
money.
it.
I knew that LSU was a fraud. And the fact that they ranked them over... It was honestly, the football gods were not in their favor. They were ranked against... they got ranked above USC, which was an absolute joke.
When you see... Joke. I know LSU beat Alabama, but when you look at the rest of it, it's kind of gross. It's not that great of a... It's not good.
Clowns.
I'm just saying.
Clowns, frauds.
But yes, A&M, I don't know. Get the clipboard out of his hand and let somebody else do it.
Yes.
I see you have on here expansion arguments.
That was
the playoff expansion.
Yes.
I thought you were talking about expansion. I was like, yes, we're doing this again in December.
Wait,
when there's
what?
so much like conference expansion.
Oh, like realignment stuff? No,
yes.
No, I meant expansion as in playoff expansion. No,
I thought I missed. I want that. Are you kidding? We got transfer portal. We got all sorts. By the way, how crazy is the transfer portal?
The transfer portal has been lit on fire.
It's gonna
be a bloodbath.
It is. It's hard to follow.
It's honestly, no one is. Well, they set some rules, so I need to look at what the dates are on this stuff. Because
they gave you the window. How about Cade McNamara potentially to Iowa?
Sources say.
Cade, buddy, I actually like your game. Would love it if you attended the University of Iowa. You should seek other opportunities. I will say that to you. We did not talk about Iowa and Nebraska.
No,
yet,
I was
by
just
the
gonna
way.
say, I asked you on the actually very funny. This is a behind the curtain moment. Kramer and I have our
God.
like random like morning calls to just like recap each other on like what's going
Yeah.
on for the week and just talking. And I was like randomly out of nowhere, I was like, by the way, are we gonna talk about Iowa or do you wanna? And he's like, I don't want to talk about it. Can we move on?
It was so bad. I mean, just that's perfect. That is the crescendo of Iowa football, and all of it. And what was really weird is to see Iowa do dumb shit. Because even when Iowa's offense sucks, when Iowa's offense sucks, Iowa normally they'll let you do dumb shit to yourself.
Okay.
It's like the trick to beating Iowa State. And it was just a cartoon of like awful.
Yeah.
But it's like, in some ways it was a relief. Iowa against Michigan would be bad. We've seen that game already. It was bad.
Yeah.
So in some ways it was just putting a fucking bizarre season out of its misery.
Yeah.
And that's that.
But I will say, shout out to the Arizona Wildcats for winning the Territorial Cup, the oldest rivalry trophy, the Territorial
Really?
Cup.
Really?
Yeah, it is. Fun fact.
How old? It's not like
it got
Yale.
lost for a couple years and then they found it. Yeah.
How recently did it get lost?
It was a while ago. They've had it for years now.
How do you lose a trophy?
It just gets like put somewhere and like misplaced. I don't know. This was not like within the last like
1850 it got lost.
Yeah, it's something crazy like that. Let's Google how old is the Territorial.
When I think old rivalry games, I think Arizona State.
Exactly. That is exactly. One of the longest football rivalries. I went to Arizona. The winner receives a Territorial Cup created 123 years ago.
Okay.
For the 1899.
It was like some kid who had a popsicle stick and was like, trophy.
First of all, have you seen the trophy? It's very nice. Why are you dissing? Why are you dissing and taking away? Why are you trying to take away my joy?
This
was my Thanksgiving weekend joy, especially because I said on this podcast that nothing else matters except for that game. If you win that game, successful season, and you're taking my joy. I've been nice about Iowa, and you are stealing my joy.
No, you know what? You're right. I'm happy. Arizona was, I'm not even saying this to be a kiss ass. Arizona was a really fun team this year. Drastically improved over machines. They were good. They were very fun to watch. Like in the Pac-12, Arizona State, not so much. Arizona, though, like leaps and bounds better to where they were. So I am happy for Arizona. Also happy I bet the over in that game. And no, you're right. I apologize.
Yes,
I'm happy for you in the trophy.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have football games.
Let's go.
So a lot of these are in picks and pints. Do we want to just
we can do picks and pints.
Pick and pints and previews?
Yeah, if your game is not in the... Because I think I took all the Power 5 ones.
I've got a non-Power 5 game, but I think we're covered here.
Give us your reveal of what you're drinking.
Topo Chico.
The seltzer.
Tangy lemon lime.
Okay, so
delicious.
Little fun fact. If you sip a little bit of that and then you add a little bit of tequila into it, it's a good time.
All right.
That was my drink of choice on the ski slopes last year.
How much tequila are you adding per bottle or per can?
I would say like half a shot, maybe. A full shot.
So half a shot. And then how many of those are you like before things get like
me personally, probably 2. One.
Okay.
One. Realistically, one.
Topo Chico's good. This is light.
I like those are my favorite seltzers, are the Topo Chico ones.
Okay, I'm in. This is and I like the flavor too. So that is a good reveal. All right. So picks and pints.
Yes.
By the way, everybody who's won game day upsets with Municipal, I'm assuming we're going to still roll it this week.
Yeah, of course.
The show must go on. So we will be doing game day upsets where you can win Municipal gear. And I know they're sending out more gear to everybody that's won. Delay was on me. We've gotten them in motion. gear is coming just in time for holidays and whatnot, but don't give it away. You should wear it yourselves. So we'll be doing it for Conference Championship weekend this week as well. So Picks and Pints morphing into kind of a Conference Championship preview. What game do you want to start with?
Okay,
ACC,
I need to
because
start
nobody
with
gives a
just
shit?
a general statement about my Picks and Pints because
Oh boy.
I told you this. I have been riding a little bit of a heater, and I call it the day of vibe, okay? These are parlays that I put together the morning of games, okay? The last 3 weekends, I have won every single day of vibe check parlay, okay? And usually,
Yes.
I pick 3 teams, and I do money line, 3 teams, okay? That's it.
Yeah, what was your Saturday one? It was a doozy.
This last Saturday,
Yeah, the last Saturday.
it was Texas A&M,
Points or money line?
money line.
Fuck.
Texas A&M money line. Hold on, let me look. So I knew the Texas A&M one because I was.
You told me that, and I remember I had bet LSU -10. And I knew
Texas Tech. Texas
Oh
Tech.
God.
Texas
yeah,
A&M.
we were both on that. That was a wild ride. That was good.
That was a real wild ride.
Oh my God.
Hold on, let me look.
It wasn't Oregon State, was it?
No, I think I pulled off of the. Oh, it might have been.
That was also a wild ride.
Let's see. No, it was USC, Texas Tech, and Texas A&M all money line.
Okay.
Okay.
That's nice.
Yeah, and then the
A&M money line.
what?
Damn. A&M money line is solid.
Was a bold choice. And people were betting against USC versus Notre Dame. Yeah,
they were.
So, and Texas Tech, very happy. People were picking Oklahoma. That game was close.
Are you going to reveal your day of parlay on the day of?
So here's the thing. I can't decide between Kansas State and UNC. So I'll do my picks and pints with them in it and give you what I'm feeling today. But on the day of, I will tweet my okay, this is the one I'm going with. But I am gonna make it 5 teams. I'm gonna do all of the Power 5.
Oh, I was wondering why in the doc there was all sorts of money line shit going on.
It's a money line vibe. We're riding a money line heater, so let's roll with it.
Okay,
but that's what I just
actually
wanted to establish.
Well,
before we select these.
Already in the AAC, you and I are different. You like Central Florida, and I'm on Tulane. -3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't love this game. I like it. They played, obviously, UCF won. They've since lost to Navy and then played weird against South Florida.
But that was a weird game. That ending was wild. I kind of don't know that was a touchdown at the end of that game.
It was wild. I'll tell you this: Tulane has not been good to the old bank account this year. Betting for and against, I feel like, and they've been amazing against the spread. Mm-hmm. So I do like Tulane. I don't feel strongly though. We don't have to. This will be a good game. Don't lose sight of this game. Would be my biggest point here. Now we are both on Georgia.
Yes.
I like them -17.5. You have them money line.
Yes.
What do you think of them spread wise?
17.5
is a lot.
You know what? It's a lot, but they'll do it. They'll do it.
I'm kind of in the again, so last year Georgia was in this spot and they lost, and you could say that Georgia was unmotivated. I will counter with that and say Bryce Young was fucking in fuego, and it didn't matter. Bryce Young was a machine. They're going to overmatch LSU at so many positions, I think.
Yeah, I don't think this will be an issue for them. I think you're good on the points there. I think there's another conference that you're picking the points that you're going to be sadly disappointed in.
I don't know if I'm doing that yet. I did put it on here because I'm struggling with this shit like you are. Like I'm struggling with these games. I don't do well historically this weekend betting at all. I like to have weird opportunities and everything else and home field, etc. Let's go to the Big Ten. Though.
Okay.
Michigan, Purdue. You're going money line.
I'm going all money line this week, but okay. I will talk through point totals and spreads with you.
I will go. I don't like a side in this. I like under 52. It was at this number's moved around 51.5, 52. I don't know if Michigan's going to give a shit. And I think they're just going to want to run the clock down and just sit on the football.
So you think the under is safe?
I think the under feels good. I don't know
What's
how
the
much
spread
Purdue's
on that
going to
game?
do. I think it's 17.5 as well.
Oh God, don't take that.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me get an updated spread here. 17.
Do not take that.
Yeah, 17. I don't love that. I'm messing with the total. I don't think I'm doing anything else.
Yeah, I think the total's fine.
Okay. What else do you have in your?
Okay, I'm
boy.
struggling. I'm struggling with. Well, I took UNC. I'm going to take UNC money line. I think
like
Clemson
Clemson
loses
here.
again. You took Clemson in the points. That to me is a little wild.
I took Clemson the points last week too, and that was fucking dumb.
Yeah, well,
But I'm gonna do it again.
no.
Fair, yes, but fair.
I'm struggling though because like there's a version of UNC that if they show up, they're certainly going to be Clemson. But
not the version we've seen for 2 weeks.
Yeah, so I'm a little nervous about that. But it's a championship game. You never know. Bragging rights over Dabo.
I am interested in these lines. That line in particular, I saw 7 yesterday, and I grabbed it because it's 7.5 now for Clemson, and that's a big hook. It'll be interesting to see where some of these lines go. Pac-12, your conference du jour. What do you have with USC or UCLA?
I have USC money line, but what is the spread?
It is 3.
I would take USC.
The total on this one up to 68. It was up to 67 yesterday, and I think I like the over. This is not a pick and pine.
Over 68?
Yes.
Woo.
These two teams can. I'm struggling like hell with this game. I am really struggling. I think though they're baiting the entire world to bet USC here. Mm-hmm. But USC might just be good.
They are good.
They are good. Actually, I'd just say you're right. That's not fair. Might has left the station, but Utah is also pretty good.
Yeah.
So it's in Vegas. Wish I was going to this game. We're going to be covering this though. It'll be fun. Be writing about this game. Yes. I am looking forward to that. It's going to be like 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I don't know though. I don't know what to do with this game, and I don't think I'm supposed to say I don't know to these questions, but I really don't.
I'm riding with USC. Like I think that watching them against Notre Dame, I was like, you know what, this feels like a team that like knows the hate, has a chip on their shoulder, and obviously they want a guaranteed spot in the playoff, and that to do that they need to win. So I think, and like I said, it's hard to beat the same team twice in one season. And I don't think Utah fans travel really well, but I think a neutral site and just how they've been playing, I think that USC is going to
win. Yes. And lastly, TCU Kansas State for me, I like over 61.5.
Okay.
Kansas State did not score a point in the second half. This is another like bizarre game. Like Kansas State's really good. Really good. This is one
I can't figure out because
I agree with you.
Part of me feels like Kansas State is probably going to win this, but the other part of me is like, you have doubted TCU all year long.
I know.
Why would you do this? Why would you do this? You saw what happened. What was it? 2 weeks ago now when they just like miracle field goaled it. I was like, what is going on?
I know.
Yeah, I don't want to bet against them, so I think I am going to take TCU money line on that, and then I'll stick with UNC being the upset money line that I take.
I would probably lean K-State here, but I don't feel good about it.
You know what? You know what you need to do? Day of vibes. Day of vibes.
Day of vibes. That's a good T-shirt right there.
Day of vibes. That is how you make your bets in college football because you can feel it in the air. Like this last week when South Carolina won and Texas A&M won, I was like, there was just something in the air, okay? There's just something that was going on. You got to go with vibes.
I like the vibe check. By the way, there are other fun games, not picks and pine. Well, some of them are. UTSA versus North Texas is fun. How about Akron and Buffalo replaying their game just at like Friday at noon? That's an amazing degenerate game. What was the other game? Oh, Fresno State versus Boise State is a good game. That is Saturday afternoon. I like Fresno.
I just realized that I made a future bet on that conference champions year.
Does it include one of those two teams?
Yeah, it does. Oh.
Fresno?
What?
Fresno?
I think so.
That's the even best future betting. Is you got to go back and
I have to go check. Actually, I don't know if it's on like the.
Troy versus Coastal Carolina, also interesting. My God, did Coastal Carolina get the shit kicked out of it?
That was bad.
Wow, that was bad. I had the over in that game. I was
that was
kicking
in my
myself
pick, that
for
was in the,
not.
That was in my picks and pints, and I was like, oh nope, that.
Yeah, no, you do like early. See, that's fine though. When you lose like that, you can lose early and just say like, okay, next week.
I had a bad beat on a total this weekend. I think it was 68.5, and it was the total, and I had the over, and it was 68. Was the total
Which game?
points. I don't remember. Hold on, let me look at the sheet.
It
was last week.
I had James
Oh
Madison.
no, it was 64.5, and it was Notre Dame USC, and it was 64 points.
Oh, that is a bad beat. All those goddamn turnovers too.
Like,
okay, so I'm really looking forward to this weekend. And I'm looking forward to the playoffs. So we are going to be on, BR streaming. We're going to be on Sunday. We got show, depending on when you listen to this, on Thursday, where we'll be talking conference championship games.
Yeah, it's a new.
We're going to be on a lot
tomorrow.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
But Sunday's going to be the big one. Come talk to us on Sunday in the BR app when we reveal the actual rankings, and then we talk about what happened.
If USC loses on Friday night, it sets up a really interesting weekend. Like, boom. Right like that. If not, it's still compelling, but it's less interesting. And that's really it. USC can really kind of lock this thing up, yes. I think. But we'll see. What about other random shit? Do you have other random shit this week?
Oh, I have great news coming out of the sporting world. Mattia, who was the team principal for Ferrari, he resigned. So
what does that mean, though? Are they? Is he?
That's positive.
It's a positive.
Yes, it's positive.
Yeah, they're kind of a shit show, right?
Well, no, they're not. First of all, not a shit show, but they are playing second fiddle, and they need to be first, and they've screwed over their drivers a lot. So I think it was time for a change. So I'm not excited for someone to lose their job, of course, but he resigned, so he left on his own.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, in quotes. But I'm very happy that Ferrari came to that conclusion, because I really didn't think that would happen. I didn't think that he would get to that point. Also, we must talk about the World Cup.
So I didn't really see it. I did finally see the goal.
Okay. We were talking about that.
Yeah, he gets hit in the nuts, clearly. Like, it's clear nuts shot.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the more public nut shots we've ever seen in sports.
They called it a pelvic contusion.
Mm-hmm. Pelvic, though, it's like, I don't think... But he sounds like he's going to play.
Oh, yeah. He's going to play. Captain America is
swollen balls and all.
Yeah, that's pretty stressful. Like, that could be bad. That could be really bad.
Yeah, it could. No, it sounds like he's okay. It's like one of those things that's very funny and then, like, potentially really not funny.
Yeah, we went through that, like, roller coaster. I think Twitter did, too, but it was brutal. But I love watching, like, just Americans be excited about something they only watch every couple of years, and then just the whole Twitterverse is lit up over it.
What is the spread? Are they got to be a big dog? Hold on.
Huge
Let me pull
dog.
this up. Are they? They got to be a big dog, and they'll probably to the Netherlands. Let's see. Oh boy.
What are
so Netherlands minus 105, draw plus 235, and US plus 340. So I have a question here.
Yes.
Do you know how the format works for this next round? I do not. Do you know, like, what the situation is here?
In terms of, like, you lose and you go home.
But why do they have draw on here? Isn't that, like, odd?
Maybe if it goes to penalty kicks, and then that would be considered a draw, technically, because they won on penalty kicks.
I would assume the knockout round is exactly what you're talking about, is the knockouts, but I don't know. Clearly, this is where my soccer interest is.
No.
So in any event,
I think the draw would be if it does go to penalty kicks, you would get the draw. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Yeah, I do. I'm looking at the odds here, Sue. Wow. Argentina minus 550 over Australia plus 1,500. There's some crazy ass lines on this.
I could take USA.
For that value. Yeah, they're playing well. From what I've watched, they look good and they're energetic, and
the Netherlands are good though. They were like one of the sleeper picks for the whole thing.
No, for sure. It has. When is that game, by the way? Saturday?
Yes.
Oh
it's at
God.
I think it's really early in the morning. Hold on. USA Soccer.
That's early for you?
It's at 7 a.m. my time.
Oh my God. Well, breakfast and kegs.
It's not. It's basically oh, hey, look, the Formula One season is over, Paige, and now here's another sport that you can watch at 7 a.m. on a Saturday before.
What a great Saturday! That into college football, fantastic.
Oh, I love Saturdays.
This is by the way our last working college football Saturday of the year.
Okay, so I just have to say this is what it's like. People always ask, what's it like to work in sports? This is exactly what it's like, okay? You come off of Thanksgiving break where you get a little bit of downtime, but you still have to work a little in between because there's still games. You come back and you have a 7-day work week.
Yep.
And then you finally get to the following week and you're off Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So it was an accident. And to be fair, my manager was like, please take half days when you can. And do certain things. But yeah, I have a 7-day work week this week because of college football. So this is the best time of year. But yeah, adding a little sprinkle of national soccer just makes me happy.
It's just, for me, I get into my routine of Saturdays. And then we have the Heisman. We have Army Navy, of course, which is always a treat. But it's weird. It's a relief because Saturdays are exhausting.
Yes.
It's sad because Saturdays are amazing. It's all those things. But I am very much excited for, on Sunday, playoff reveal is the big deal. But I love Brett McMurphy, who you need to be following on Twitter, Sources, is going to reveal all these bowl games for you.
Do you remember when we were at the national championship and Brett put his phone in his pocket and we were literally standing with him talking to him and he tweeted a bunch of S's or something?
Oh yeah.
And everyone was like, Brett, you're tweeting out from his pocket.
I think I was asking him, of course this was after a bunch of beers, how do you source all your bowl games? Not asking him for his sources. That's his bread and butter. And he was like, well, I'm not going to fucking tell you that. In a nice way. No, how do you, there's a bazillion bowls.
Yeah.
And he's already started. I think he did the Hawaii Bowl already. He literally will tell you every bowl game. It's his beat.
He's the Woj of college football bowls.
Of college football bowls. That is exactly what he is. So I don't want to wait. I want to see how hilarious the Iowa matchup's going to be. I hope it's very shitty. There was some Iowa Pitt rumors going on. Yeah, give me Iowa Pitt. That would be a terrible bowl game. But I am looking forward to it. Bowl season is a great deal of fun.
Yes.
All the bowl gifts excite me for no good damn reason at all. I love all of this. So I don't have anything else other than I'm very excited for this weekend and tired and all of those things. Yeah, all that too. Okay, with that, Paige, I'm Adam. Thanks for listening. Talk to you guys next week. I have another one of these Topo Chicos.
I hope producer Matt keeps that in the end of the episode.
Oh, he should. That should be it.
And done. I'm gonna have another one of these.
I'm gonna have another. Yeah, and cut it.